Okay, so that's architectural discussions meeting. We have a few items for today. I'll start from my item. So I propose updates to a couple of guideline documents. So one is technical guidelines that we have, and it's related to IDs, how we use them, and what more actually about format of the IDs. So the item that I propose to add is that service contracts should allow client-side generated IDs. A service should accept an ID instead of generating it. UUID is provided as an example of client-side generated IDs, so that we don't strictly say that it should be string, for example, but it just should be something that is not auto-generated internally as we do right now. And for example, we rely on auto-increment in database. So it goes from some discussions which are going around GraphQL and IDs there, and from our technical vision in the future. So client-side generated IDs would help to resolve some problems with, for example, import-export. They would also allow to have more flexible flows when creating, or specifically about creating of entities. So that's what I propose. And for GraphQL, what we say that output types that represent entities which should be manipulated, updated, removed, etc., and or can be cached on the client must have ID field, so specific name ID, and type of the field should be ID. Yeah, so that's related to the request from, I believe, PWA team, or maybe from the community, to have ID field for all entities so that it can be automatically cached by, for example, Apollo client. And we were discussing that it looks reasonable. We just want to have specific type for this field as well. Anyways, any concerns about those items?
I have one question regarding this. So right now, some entities already have ID field and it's integer right now, for example. Are we going to introduce breaking changes? In case if yes, will it be applicable for 2.4 only? Or like, I would like to understand the flow, how we are going to move in this direction.
So I guess we will go through each case. We will go through approval process for each case, and we'll see if we can do it in 2.3. But if it's not very necessary, we can probably do it in 2.4 to provide more like predictability and to reduce number of breaking changes in 2.3. So we consider that it would be good to change type as soon as possible because we have fewer clients that use GraphQL right now. But from another side, I agree that it is probably not a good practice to make breaking changes in patch release, and having like better predictability is also important. So I would say that we need to go through each case, or we can discuss separately what do we do with all these existing fields. We have items for architecture team to create tasks for that, and I think when we will be creating such tasks, we can go and discuss with product team and with release management team on what do we do with each specific case or in general, and we will either label them for 2.4 or 2.3 if it will make sense.
Okay, thanks.
Any other concerns, questions? Okay, if no questions, then I'm done with my topic. Next one, Lena.
Yeah, let me share my screen. This question is related to issue that was created after the schema review by architecture team. It says that this issue states we need to convert gender field to the enum type. And here we have one reasonable comment from Fuman about this, that in case if we will make this enum, it became like less inclusive. And the best practice, he also attached link to the article, and best practice is to just make it free-form entry. And like, what do you think about it in general? Because right now in Magento we have, right now in schema it is integer. So if I'm not mistaken, 1 for male, 2 for female. And in case if I want to change to free-form entry, it should be changed not only on GraphQL side but on global level.
I would say this is product decision, and we definitely need to discuss this with the product.
Okay, so I will move this ticket to on hold because it needs additional discussion.
Yeah, I would ping Mark Brinton and Nishant probably, because Mark Brinton is.
Okay. That's actually it.
Okay, thanks. Igor.
Okay, I don't have anything to share, but the question is, should we consider adding new configuration paths a minor change, or it's a part change? And by adding new configuration paths, I mean adding something to system.xml. The reason why we may want to consider this as a minor change is because if extension relies on a minor version of the module, but and uses configuration option that was added in one of the patch releases, it would not work on all of the patch releases of that minor version. So we may want to consider this as a minor change and push it through a normal approval process. This is what I would propose.
So I understand
why it should not work?
Because you wrote extension for Magento that relies on the minor version of the module. And because you saw that this module in, let's say, in the version like 101.4 has a configuration option, started relying on that configuration option. And then someone installed this extension on version of the module, someone that has version of the module 101.3, and he doesn't have that configuration option, but because the developer was able to install your extension because it depends on the minor version. And your extension would not be able to use that option. It would not be available.
Actually, so I believe probably only in default value, because here if you don't define default value for some option in system configuration, it will and request it's just retro null for you.
Depends.
So I don't think adding option in system.xml is backward compatible. Because if you just add option in system configuration, it will be available and default value will be null. But the same behavior if you do not add it to system configuration, and code will request it.
I don't know. You may try to set this option or perform some customizations based on that option.
But I think it's a question, more generic question about forward compatibility that we don't discuss yet. And I think we are returning to it again and again. So the extension, if it depends on specific version, it should state that, okay, I depend on 100.1.3 or whatever and higher. Because otherwise we can add any method or any interface and it will be a breaking change in that way. But I don't think this is what we were usually considering the reason.
How is it different from adding interface with API annotation that is API?
I think for the interface, we are saying that an extension may not know about some flow and will be not covering it. And that's the problem, not that it will be broken.
That's very similar with this configuration path.
Similar. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's just that we need to understand what are the reasons why we want to make it minor. Is it because this is a new functionality that an extension may be missing, or because of forward compatibility that we don't talk about it anywhere? So it's a separate question that we need to address.
I think those flows that might be missing, if we're saying that extension developers write their extension and always rely on some patch version, then those both use cases are covered. Forward compatibility and missing some of the flows, extension developers would not have a problem if they say, my extension works from this patch version. But I'm not sure that they write extensions like this. I think they would depend on minor version. But if we should, it just that's the main question. I think what extension developers depend on. If they depend on the minimum patch version, then we should be able to add interfaces with API annotation and revise some other rules where adding things we consider backwards incompatible, because all of the extensions that rely on those things will work.
Mm-hmm.
But if we are worried about that, then we should consider those changes minor, probably.
Okay, so I don't know. Any opinions? Should we make it minor change or no?
So actually, it definitely depends on scenario. So, and from this point of view, let's make it minor, and architect will approve and decide based on the scenario where it's used.
I'm fine with making it minor for now until we decide something different, because for me it just looks as adding new functionality, and new functionality is usually considered a minor change. Although it will limit, I think, some of the fixes, but we can go through approval process. Okay, so I guess everybody, there are no concerns about making it minor, right? No concerns, then Igor, you will prepare update for DevDocs to include there's minor change, right?
Yes. One more question. Since it doesn't look like we have any more items, but related to this. If we are making a minor change and Right now, after recent changes to semantic version checker, we can detect a lot of those minor changes. If we approve this minor change, do we bump minor version, or do we sometimes make it downgrade it and make it as a patch?
No, I think rules should not change if we approve minor change. We just what it means is that we allow it in patch release.
Mm-hmm.
But
So we always bump.
yes.
Okay. Then we may need to have some discussion, because from what I understood, it's not always happening. But it's not related.
Okay, so the discussion with
separate.
whom? With developers? With release team?
With release team.
But like, do they override it somehow, because automatically it will be bumped?
From what I heard, sometimes we override it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions? If no questions, then we are done for today. Thanks all for joining. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye.